Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is the Black Manga Critic, and we are here. We are here reacting to some different manga. All right, like normally y'all see me reacting to manga. It's probably gonna be some Weekly Show and Jump stuff. Just more recently, right? In the past, I've reacted to I've tried to start other manga, different readathons, I call them. I think I'm probably going to get back to doing that, like sort of readathon type of stuff. But you know, generally I think I just want to start reacting to different types of manga. You know what I mean? Stuff that I actually like reading, like that I really, really like reading. That's just outside of the Weekly Shonen Jump pantheon. Because I think that matters. I think people want to see and be introduced to different manga that they're not used to, and they want to be like, hey, okay, if this person enjoyed it, this person thought it was pretty dope, maybe that's something that I'll be interested in, and I'll go check it out, and da 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 da. As opposed to I already know that I'm invested in this stuff, and I'm gonna keep watching this person react to the stuff that I've already read, and and it's that's not to say it's a bad thing to watch people react to manga that you love. I do that all the time. I mean, I do that all the time. So I'm chilling. You know what I mean? I do that all the time. I react to manga and people react to the manga that they've already read, the chapters that they've already read that I haven't yet read. But you gotta variety to me is important. Variety is really important. All right. So we're gonna start with Ooku. All right, we're starting with Ooku. So I'm gonna probably change the title of this stream to the Ooku readathon, because I have other streams that I've started, but I don't think I finished one of them. One of the readathons. I gotta get back to those. But I finished one of the readathons. The Year Lion April readathon, and that was dope. That was a great manga. I still love it. But yeah, let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. We be doing that Ooku greatness, okay? Because I've heard really great things about it. I read the sort of blurb, the sort of book blurb, and I was like, this sounds awesome. This sounds amazing. This is one of those things where you read it and you're like, all right, I gotta check this manga out. I gotta read it. I think I bought three. I think I bought 3 volumes of this manga because I just knew this is gonna be super dope. You know what I mean? I knew this was gonna be dope. I knew it was gonna be dope. So I was like, I gotta buy 3 volumes right now, before I go home and never go back to my anime shop for a little bit or whatever. All right, Naya, what's good, my guy? All right, you already know what it is. Naya knows what it is. All right. Sometimes you got you want people to react to different stuff. Okay, Weekly Shonen Jump stuff is cool. It's cool, but we gotta read other stuff. Okay. So this is titled Ooku, The Inner Chambers by Fumi Yoshinaga. All right, and this is parental advisory, explicit content. So you already know what that means. Okay, there's gonna be some stuff in here. And so far, beautiful stuff, beautiful art. Get into it. All right, so it's split into 4 chapters, and then some end notes. The art so far is great, really gorgeous art. All who serve inside the Ooku, the inner chambers in the deepest interior of Edo Castle, must seal with blood the following oath. Excuse me. Never shall I speak of things I have seen or heard inside the Ooku, nor of anything else that doth take place therein, to my parents, or to my brothers or sisters, or to any other person beyond its walls. From the Ooku Code. Very interesting. Okay. Sadakishi, where art thou going? Oh, okay, this is it's reading some old school. Okay, it's a little old school. Kind of reminds me, it's like Elizabethan English or something like that. Not telling, 'tis my own secret place that nobody else knows. Sadakishi, Kichi, sorry, not Kichi, all right. Sadakichi's son. 'Tis not for tots to wander far away alone. 'Tis not for tots to wander far away alone. Come home ere it gets dark, thou hearest? I know, I will, ma. Forsooth, the lad's already 10 years old. He should be helping in the fields. Sometimes I think he'll stay a little monkey child forever, that one. The art so far is gorgeous. Very, very, very nice art. I like it a lot. So Kichi's running around, tired, looking around. He picks a mushroom. In Otsugatake, the first one this season. Nobody from the village comes so far into the forest. I found a great good spot here. They say eating the first find of the season makes one live longer. I'll come here every year to take one from my mom. She'll get right strong and sturdy from it. Who's there? Okay, so it is a bear. Bruh. Huh? Yo. Oh my goodness. Yo, we got started real intense. Like, I wasn't ready for that. Sadakichi. Yo, look. Oh my goodness. Yo, your boy's done. Your boy's done. I haven't checked out the Japanese Discord yet. I haven't checked that out yet. Professor had told me. I will. I probably will sooner rather than later. But I haven't checked it out yet. But thanks for letting me know about that. Yo, your boy is done. I'm not showing nothing on like the videos because like, you know, as he gets strikes and stuff like that, and no. But your boy is done. Like he did. The boy did. The bear came out of nowhere and just got him. Oh boy. It was only after the dying Sadakichi drew his last breath that the calamity befell the village. First, Sadakichi's eldest brother, Orokichi, came down with a high fever for no apparent reason. I feel ill. So hot. So very hot. Orokichi's entire body became covered in red pustules, which swelled and festered. 4 days later, he was dead. Whew. The family's second son, Matasuke, soon developed the same symptoms and died. 6 days later, their father, Oromatsu, contracted the disease. He survived, although Orokichi's childhood friend, Chobe, who fell sick around the same time, did not. Sadakichi's mother, Seki, and his younger sister, Tei, did not fall ill. Seki understood what had happened. The gods of the forest had punished her son Sadakichi with a terrible plague, which he had brought back to the village. Wow. The pestilence rapidly spread to the next village, and from there to the next village beyond. Only men were affected, and only young men at that. 8 out of every 10 who fell victim to the plague died. At first considered a terrifying but endemic local disease, the plague spread outwards from the mountains villages until, several years later, it was a full-scale epidemic affecting all of the Kanto region, whence it continued to move westward. People were totally helpless against the disease. The male population of the country continued to decrease at a frightening rate. What do we do? What can we do? Our Hikosa is nothing we can do. Look at him. Not even the gods can save him now. Please, doctor. Kotaro is the only boy we have left in this family. The only one. You must do something, doctor. Please, I beg you, save him, doctor. What will become of us? What will become of this world? This plague is not just in Osaka. It hit the whole country. If we have no more boys left in this world, we are all doomed. This world will end. Yeah. Because its symptoms resembled those of smallpox, the disease came to be called the red face pox. And with no effective cure for it ever found, it took root as a horrible yet common disease. And so it was that close to 80 years passed. The male population of the country stabilized at about 1/4 that of the female. And due to their alarmingly low survival rate, boys were raised with extreme care as precious seed bearers, with all the labor in the land carried out by women. Trades and occupations that had been passed down from father to son were now handed down from mother to daughter. The institution of marriage collapsed. Low-income women could not even dream of taking a husband, so they visited the pleasure districts and paid for men's favors in order to bear children. Prithee, hear my news. I might be able to take a bridegroom soon. Oh, I envy you, Okaya. How lucky you are that your family's trade goes so well. The right to take a son-in-law became a privilege accorded only to the samurai warrior class and very wealthy merchants and village magistrates. Your Highness, they await your entrance. Hmm. The sixth Tokugawa shogun, Inobu. Ah, all right. So we got a shogun that's a woman. Okay. Ever since the reign of the third shogun, Imetsu, military rule of the country had also become a responsibility handed down from woman to woman. Since samurai society in the peaceful years of the Tokugawa region was already largely a bureaucracy, the inversion of men and women's roles took place relatively smoothly. As the sole ruler of all the land, the supreme leader of the entire country, the shogun alone had the privilege, the height of luxury in this time of male scarcity, to enter an interior palace populated wholly by beautiful men, said to number 3,000 in all, from which all other women were strictly banned. Hark, our liege shall now enter the inner chambers for the morning audience. So you got some bells jingling. Bow ye down for the entrance of our liege. All right, I'm here for this. I'm here for this. Let's go. Very nice art so far. Very nice art so far. The fourth month of the 6th year of Shotoku, Shotoku, yeah. The fourth month of the 6th year of Shotoku, Edo, June 1716. Oh, okay, so the Edo period is like 18th century, yes. Further back, I don't know. I gotta think about that. I gotta look that up. It says 1716, and I'm assuming that's like ADE, ACE or something. Is it ACE? No, just CE, because it's before the Common Era, and then it's just Common Era. All right, so CE. Okay. I give up. I lose. You win. Now have some mercy and let me be done, Yunoshin. Not so fast. You dropped your wooden sword on purpose, did you not? Midamura-san. Sorry. Blah, blah. Midamura-san. You've still got a lot of fight left in you, I'm sure. Here, sir, another 10 bouts. Deputy Master, let us be done for the day. 'Tis enough. Spare me, sir, I beg you. Agreed, 'tis enough. Your passion for fencing is indeed a madness, and keeping you company in it shall only make the others fall ill. Onobu, what's that you say? It would be one thing if you came bearing victuals, but thou art only here to victuals. Okay. I come bearing rice balls. Hooray, practice is over. All right. That Midamura-san's got a good arm and good instincts, but he lacks mettle, or rather, true danger. I never get the sense that he feels his life is at stake. Well, certainly not. And why should you? His life is not at stake. We were still in a time of war. He might need mettle. But today, when there's peace, fencing is nothing more than a samurai hobby. And if I should pursue a hobby, better it be singing or dancing or some foppish thing that'll make me popular with the ladies. Is that it? No, of course not. I never thought anything like it. I very much like seeing you fence, sir. Only, while 'tis true that men are stronger than women, at the same time, their constitutions are so much weaker. Should you push yourself too hard, I'm afraid you will get sick. Never fear, I do think I am the exception to the rule. And you are already popular with the ladies, sir. I know that many women have asked you for your seed, and that you have never refused even one. And what is more, I have heard you always let them bed you without demanding any payment, and give your seed freely. And that is why they all come to me, because I demand no payment, not because I am so popular, alas. The maids you lie with are always the poor ones, they say, the penniless wretches who cannot afford to go to a brothel. That is so like you, sir. With your looks, you could have your pick of the wealthiest, prettiest maidens in town, I know. You are so very kind. If you so wish it, I wouldn't say nay to being bedded by yourself, O childhood friend of mine. Oh, please, you know very well that is out of the question. Ha ha. Pardon, thou art the daughter of a prosperous trader of medicinal herbs, bound to take a husband from one of the big merchant houses. No chance the heiress of Tajima should dally with the son of an impoverished Hatamoto like myself. Come, Onobu. Those women who do not sleep with me for love or passion. They desire a child, nothing more. They They importune me in tears. Give me a child, Master Yunoshin. Please, give me a reason for living. They throw themselves at my feet and beseech me, oh no. Who cannot be moved? One would need a heart of stone to turn them down. You, sir, are the very definition of a philandering satyr. In other words, anybody will do. Satyr? Not so. How does that come to that? My heart is filled with mercy and compassion like the Buddha himself. Young master. Oh, 'tis Otake-san. Ah, nurse, what ho? Young master, your mother bids you come at once. My dear Yunoshin, I have tidings to make thee rejoice. Thou hast received an offer of marriage, and a very good match it is too. What? What sort of answer is that? When thy mother tells thee thou hast received an offer of marriage, thou shouldst say, yes, dear mother, thank you for all these years under your roof. I am on my way, and then off to be wed. Moreover, the other party is a daughter of Baron Mirua of Hizen, who is a commissioner of temples and shrines. Commissioner of temples and shrines, Yunoshin. I like where this is going. I think on the surface, like there's not even on the surface is a way in which it's like, oh well, these men like they're just like having tons of like sex with all these women and blah 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 blah. And then you see there's a lot sort of more going on the surface and this sort of like reversals of sort of roles in a way that's very, very interesting. And I kind of see where it's leading. I like where this is going so far. It seems Baron Muta's daughter puts much store in good looks, so much so that as long as her bridegroom be handsome, she is willing to overlook all of his sundry defects, however many they may be. That art already 19 years of age, Yunoshin. A match as favorable as this shall never come that way again. Of that we can be sure. What complaint canst thou have? How to put it, I care not for such things. 'Tis not a question of how thou feelest. A man must marry into a suitable family, and there produce as many offspring as his wife can bear. That is what a man is for, and how a man shall be most fulfilled and rewarded. This story's cool. Let's go. That may indeed be true, mother, but it's not also true that the right order of things is to seek a bridegroom for my sister first. She is already 24 years old, mother. Surely it cannot be good for her to wait much longer if she is to bear children. That is not a matter for thee to worry thyself about. I shall find a suitable young man for Shino soon enough. Have no fear. But how, mother, when we have not any money for the betrothal's gift, we must present his family. Yunoshin, do not trouble yourself with my fate. I may not be able to take a husband, but I expect we have enough savings to pay a son from a proper family to give me his seed. Quiet. Not even in jest or conjecture should the daughter of a Haramoto speak so immodestly. Anyway, if need be, we can resort to adoption to secure a man for Shino. Regardless, thou needest be concerned with thine own fate, and thine alone. Honored mother, I have long wished to express my deep gratitude to you. In this day and age, should an impoverished samurai family see a son grown to manhood, 'tis like having a valuable stud horse. Renting him out by the night to the daughters of rich merchants and poor samurai like us, who cannot afford to take a son-in-law, is a perfectly common practice these days. And yet you, mother, have not once sold my body to strangers. Never once. I well know what that has meant for this pecunious household. And truly, I am most grateful to you for it. Yunoshin. Therefore, please allow me to requite you this great kindness, mother. I have found a more rewarding way for a man to spend his life, one that is far more beneficial to his family than marriage. Huh? It is to enter the Ooku of Edo Castle, or Edo, a fortress populated by 3,000 men, from which all women are banned entry, save the peerless sovereign of this realm, the shogun herself. It is my wish, dear mother, that you permit me to enter into service in the inner chambers. The inner chambers? Should I be accepted into service there, I shall receive an allowance, and from what I have heard, for those who rise through the ranks, a stipend equal to that of a senior counselor in the outer chambers is not just the stuff of dreams. A stipend as large as for one of the highest positions in the land. Hmm. Not only would you have one less mouth to feed, but I would be able to send home money. My dear sister could then take a bridegroom into this house. Therefore, I beg of you, please grant me this, my heart's desire. You know, Shin. So that being so, I have in fact already spoken to my honorable uncle in Akasaka. You know, the one who served in the inner chambers himself. He has promised to help me get a position, so I expect I shall be entering into service within a month or so. Ha ha ha. The lad truly wants not to be wed. What? Okay. Indeed, Onobu. As I hear it, Sir Yunoshin shall be entering the into service in the inner chambers of Edo Castle. Ha! I wonder if that spirited young master will find it in his nature to serve in such a place. So 'tis true. You truly are going into the Oku. Behold, see how blue my new tonsure is? Makes me look ever so dashing. Wouldst thou not say? You truly are going. I've heard that once a man enters the inner chambers, he may not come out even for a short leave, unless it be for something so grave as a parent's illness or death. Indeed. And I plan on advancing high in the ranks, so I expect I shall be there all my life. As thou knowest, women are forbidden from entering the place. So I shan't have to listen to this foolish chatter of you and my mother and all the other women folk around here anymore. 'Twill be refreshing. What is it? Do you want so much to wear beautiful robes and live in the lap of luxury? Is that it, you good for nothing? Maybe. And well, 'tis a burden for me to see thee every day, knowing that the two of us can never be wed, no matter how long I wait. Oh. Okay. I mean, I didn't see that coming. Like that was pretty aggressive, but like this whole the embrace. All right. So the embracing. Keep well, Onobu. Yunoshin-sir. And so it was that Mizuno Yunoshin entered into service in the inner chambers of Edo Castle. Edo Castle. Well then, young master, I must bid you farewell here, for beyond that gate no women are allowed. Aye, Omasa, 'tis plenty far enough. Fare thee well. I beg you, young master, to please take good care of yourself. The gods forbid you should fall ill. Oh, okay. The gods forbid you should fall ill. Aye, thou too, Omasa. I bid thee give again my regard to my dear mother, my dear father, and my dear sister too. Goodbye. So I have come to Edo Castle to enter and never again depart. My name is Mizuno Yunoshin, and as of today, I shall be entering into service as a page of the inner chambers. And I am a groom of the bedchamber, and my name is Matsushima. I've received a letter of recommendation from your uncle Mikumbo. Follow me. Oh. I hear that in the world outside, people say the Oku is home to 3,000 handsome men. In truth, the number of men serving here inside the walls of Edo Castle comes to not even 800. They lied not about this place. He's quite an Adonis. These 800 are first divided largely into two categories. Those who are deemed noble enough to enter into the presence of Her Highness the Shogun and are known as worthy of our liege's sight, and those who are not, who are unworthy of our liege's sight. These categories are further divided into a host of ranks, such as Grand Chamberlain, Grand Steward, Yeoman of the Chamber, Groom of the Bedchamber, Valet of the Chamber, Bearer of the Key, and so on, each having specific duties. Your foot is upon my hem. Oh, I beg your pardon, sir. Those fellows, you see there are semsters. They sew or seamster. Oh, seamsters. Okay, I guess seamsters, but that's spelled SEMPS. So I feel like it's seamsters, but it could be seamsters. I don't know. I'm gonna go with seamster. Maybe the P is like silent. They sew all the robes worn here in the Oku, and indeed, spend their entire day from morn till dusk with their needle stitching. And those you see there, cleaning the corridor, are houseboys. Houseboys have the lowest rank in these chambers, being the very bottom of those unworthy of our liege's sight. But even such flunkies are the sons of wealthy merchants and other respectable families. And at the opposite end of the scale, the most powerful of all the men in these chambers is Sir Fujinami, the senior chamberlain. Left, right, no matter where one looks, 'tis just men, men and more men. 'Tis truly a sight to make one marvel. Although the highest rank belongs to the Grand Chamberlain, in actual fact, all the doings inside the inner chambers are controlled by the chamberlains. And as first among them, Sir Fujinami is known as the Senior Chamberlain. Aye, sir. I understand the Senior Chamberlain to be a most weighty position indeed, but it must be most tiring for such an elderly man to have such great responsibilities. I have an idea of where this story might go. And I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. I mean, I think there's gonna be some great stuff, but I also think there's just like an ominous feeling that I just kind of get from like certain ways that things are set up. But I'm gonna keep reading. And what I sort of like is like, you know, if you're not like I don't know what the word would be, like a jerk or, you know, someone that like hates women or something like that. You know what I mean? I think like you can see what's going on and what Fumi Yoshinaga is trying to do here. It's very, very interesting, and I like what's going on so far. In terms of like commentary on stuff, on like, you know, misogyny and keeping women down and stuff like that. Let's see. Senior Chamberlain is but a title. 'Tis the name of a rank, nothing more, and the one who bears the title is by no means old. Sir Fujinami is not much more than 40 years of age. Ah, is that right? So 'tis the same thing as senior counselors not being grannies then? Grannies? At any rate, while your rank of page is unworthy of our liege's sight, it is the highest position on that side, and open only to sons of samurai families of Haramoto status and higher. One might thus say it is a training ground for the more exalted offices. You will do well to keep that in mind. I myself began my service here in the Ooku at the rank of page. Yes, sir. One more thing. Whatever you may see or hear henceforth in these inner chambers shall remain untold. Break this pledge, and your head will fly. Remember it well. Finally, hereafter you shall be called by your surname only. By good chance, there is nobody else in the inner chambers at the moment with the same name, and Mizuno beginning with water, as it does. Oh, Mizu, okay. Has a pleasingly refreshing sound, well suited to a palace. Good day, all. Today I join you here in the page's quarters. My name is Mizuno, and I'm well pleased to make your acquaintance. Huh? What on earth? Such brazen shouting. Doth he think this is a soldier's barracks, perhaps? Indeed, he is dressed quite rudely, too. Behold that rough kimono. Pray, newcomer, let us teach you the ways of this place. The first thing you must do is shave off the hair on your legs. The hair on my legs? Shave it off? Indeed. Of foremost importance here in this inner chamber is one personal appearance. The hair of the legs is to be shaved once every 3 days, while the beard must be shaved twice a day at morn and nightfall. Our current shogun is yet a young maiden, 7 years of age, and what she abhors above all else is brutish hirsuteness. Indeed, the inner chambers are a most refined place. 'Tis a jest. They are making merry at your expense. Huh? Come, Sugashita. Thou hast let the cat out of the bag too soon. Let us have some sport. Hey, e'en so. We wanted to watch him shave his shanks. 'Tis not often we get so boorish as to be so easily tricked. What fun. I dare say he is the son of a pauper, Haramoto, pushed into service in the inner chamber so the family has one less mouth to feed. 'Tis clear from the way he looks. Goodness me, the color of his kimono, he looks like a large gutter rat. True, and behold his top knot, how narrow he hath made it. Indeed, like a rat's tail, and yet his tonsure is shaved large and wide. 'Tis quite disgraceful. I have it. I wager his pate is near bald by nature, which fact he doth try to hide by dressing his head in this manner. Do ye not think so? Do ye not all agree? I have hit upon it. Fie upon thee. That the one that is disgraceful to look upon here is not me, thou ugly toad. A tonsure sirrah is the mark of a samurai, for the true warriors of the age of constant battle shave their pates to keep their heads cool under their iron helmets. And yet look at thee, at that age, thou wearest a long top knot of a callow youth, which in mine eyes is far more peculiar. Take a good look in the glass to see if thy countenance be that of a boy. How dare you speak to me in that manner? My own top knot is short and slender, sir, because this is the latest style in Edo, and all men of fashion wear theirs thus. And while I grant my kimono is not of the highest quality, the brownish gray color of it, sir, is likewise considered the height of elegance in the capital, and is worn by all the men about the town. So I ask thee, who here is the boar, thou palace bumpkin? I shan't stand for it. I shan't stand for being spoken to in this rude manner. Oh, is that so? Well, if 'tis a fight you want, I am ready for it. Come on, sirrah, come on. 'Tis enough of that, gentlemen. Enough. We must soon set to work on our afternoon duties. Sojima, you are well aware that disputes born of personal grudges are strictly prohibited within these inner chambers. What would the first page, Sir Kaburagi, have to say were he to happen upon such a scene? If ever anyone had cause to make that sound, 'twere myself, thou knave. Come, come. You ought to learn some restraint yourself, sir. 'Tis thus for everyone at first. Ah, I beg your pardon, you know me not. My name is Sugishita, and I have served here in the page's quarters for the past 10 years. Now first you must change into the same blue kimono and hakama skirt as we all wear, for that is the costume of the Ooku pages. And we are not permitted to wear swords here, not even short swords. Only those ranking as worthy of our liege's sight, as well as the fire guards, may wear swords in these chambers. Now then, our first duty is to clean the apartments of all the gentlemen in the exalted ranks, and to do so while they are absent from them, that is to say, occupied with their own duties. Upon the master's return, we attend to their persons, carry hot and cold water to their chambers, and whatever else they may require, for that too is our duty. You must not beat the feather duster like a cloth one, making a snapping noise like that. These chambers contain many valuable objects, and you must be careful not to break or overturn any of them. Wipe the dust away with gentle strokes. Aye, quietly like that. Passing the master's robes over scented smoke is another daily duty. Upon my master, but there are a lot of goldfish and cats and other such creatures in these chambers. Not cats, sir. You must say right honorable cats. 'Tis the rule. Now, once the masters return to their chambers, 'tis soon time for their dinner. Carry that table tray to the apartment you were told, then return to the kitchen for the next. I imagine you are not accustomed to such tasks, raised as you were the treasured son of a Haramoto, but it cannot be that all the positions in the inner chambers are glorious. Sir, my family was truly impoverished. I'm not proud of it, but I have worked as an underservant at bathhouses and even scrubbed down the covers laid over the town sewers. In other words, anything and everything other than sell my body to women. Compared to the work I have done ere coming here, this is downright easy. Sir Matsushima, I have come bearing your supper, my lord. My supper? It was brought to my chambers long ago. Huh? Yes? Nay, sir, I beseech your forgiveness for my mistake. Thou fool, thou wast to carry that to the third wing, not the second wing. I distinctly instructed Sojima to tell thee so. Now take it to the third wing and quickly. Gad, what piddling fools. Oh no, yo. Someone got tricked. Hee hee. 'Tis because thou art so slow that our day's work never ends. Terrible. Zounds, does it not make you feel wretched to be reduced to such pettiness? No, because you are already lily-livered wretches, you say? Indeed, I do agree. Mizuno, first things first, and that is to clean up this mess. Meanwhile, I shall bring a new table tray to the third wing in your steed. Devil take them. That is no different from the spiteful tormenting of indentured apprentices by the woman of a merchant's house. Be not angry. You are blessed with such good looks that they are filled with envy. 'Tis true that there are a far number of handsome men here, but those such as yourself are, in sooth, quite rare. Fire guards, so it's nighttime now. Fire guards passing through, watchmen making the rounds. Guard thy fires with care. Vigilance, vigilance. So, dude is sleeping. Yeah, I'm terrible with names. Just gotta make sure I remember. Gonna go back. Yeah. Okay, I guess we'll go with Mizuno or Yunoshin, whichever one. All right, so he's sleeping. Bruh. So he woke up. What is it? Pin him down. I struggle. With two men holding thee thou hadst no chance of escape. Now they will rain blows on me. Oh boy. In looks only thou art quite delightful. Well, thou shalt now undergo an initiation rite of sorts for new pages who get above themselves. Knowest what it is? 'Tis to play the woman. Wow. Our previous liege is dead, and our current liege is a child of just 7 years. What this means is that there are no women entering the inner chambers, not even one. Does thou understand now? This is what we do instead. We rub a man's nether hole with clove oil to make it feel like a woman's body. This fellow is so shocked he cannot find his voice. Well, 'tis not surprising. In the outside world, where men are so scarce, the idea of men lying with men never even occurred to him. Most like, hey, Sojima, he is not only thine to enjoy. Let me have a turn. And so he kicks one of the guys. Thou vile cur. Okay, so he's fighting back. My teeth. Takes a sword. Art thou mad? To draw one sword in the inner chambers is strictly forbidden and punishable by I care not. If by drawing my sword now I am compelled to commit seppuku later, then I'll slay the three of you first ere I go to hell. 'Tis no idle threat. If you ever try this trick with me again, I'll cut the lot of you down. What is it? 'Tis awfully noisy there. Keep your voices down. That is all I have to say. Now get ye back to your own beds. Forsooth, O Nobu, I have brought myself to a most terrible place indeed. 'Tis a commonplace of life here in the inner chambers. From what I hear, even in the days of yore, when there were equal numbers of men and women, men lying with men was not a rape. Wasn't wow. That's a Freudian slip if you ever heard one. That's like wow. From what I hear, even in the days of yore, when there were equal numbers of men and women, men lying with men was not a rare thing. Not that I know whether such an age truly ever existed in this world. I have lain with men myself. What? I cannot conceive of it. In Edo today, a man hath his hands full just meeting the demands of women. 1 month without the company of women, and you shall see. Shojima and his ilk are, of course, beneath consideration. but 'tis easy enough to feel moved to passion with a young, beautiful youth. Oh, so that youth who was with Sir Matsushima yesterday was, after all, our liege is only 7 years old, and even were she grown, most of the men here would never have the honor, and there are no other women here. Also, if you should have the good fortune of attracting the eye of a chamberlain or groom of the bedchamber and become their intimate favorite, then you have the opportunity of rising high in the ranks and at one bound. That is the reason so many here in these chambers have kept their forelocks. The madness. 'Tis madness. Take one step out of Edo Castle, and there are multitudes of women who are desperate to beget children but are unable for lack of seed, and all of them so poor and despairing. So it's like sort of a flashback. Ah, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are the only one, sir, who will grant a poor wretch like me this wish. I am beyond my best years already, and I want so much to set my poor ma's heart at ease. Um, 'twill be like laying with a bag of bones, I know, and I am sorry for that. But wait, first. Oh, what's it now? What is it now? Oh yeah, let us get on with it. Just one moment, sir. I must first pray to the gods. May I please beget a child? May I please beget a child? May I please beget a child? Hmm. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear it. Oh yeah. And now I'm going into service in the inner chambers of Edo Castle, so I cannot help you more. Oh, by my troth, sir, do not feel badly. It was folly on my part to try to beget a child. To think that a poor wretch like me could raise a babe was to reach too far. And what is more, for a base commoner like me to receive the seed of a noble sir like yourself is nothing short of sinful. And to think the gods would allow it, most foolish. But please, do not go ere I can thank you most gratefully. The highest courtesan in Yoshiwara could not have been better to me than you were, sir. I am a most fortunate woman that I am. That I am. I thank you truly, sir. All right, so we go back to the present. After what I have seen of the woman in town, I cannot shoot my seed in vain and simply let it spill out. 'Tis wasteful and wrong. We are no different from the goldfish that we just did, see, Mizuno. All right, let me read that one time. We are no different from the goldfish that we just did see, Mizuno. Uh-huh. Our entire lives are in vain and wasteful. We are kept in the goldfish bowl that is these inner chambers, for no purpose other than to be kept. To have so many men in one place, to no earthly avail, and to let their precious seed go to waste. This very wastefulness, this luxury, is evidence of the shogun's might and power, is it not? Onobu, this place is. Ah, Sugishida did mention that there was a fencing hall at the end of the garden of Fukiage. Okay, so they're all, I guess, kendo that they're practicing. And God, once again, I with pleasure. We could also just be like samurai training, like sword training. Hey, Mizo. Oh, I crept up expecting to see a bunch of namby-pambies thwacking feebly at each other, but I was most mistaken. Ah, if only I could join them in there. What sayest thou? 'Tis the full training drill held every 12 days, and the pride of the inner chambers. Quite a bold and spirited array, are they not? Huh? Gads, I must humbly beg your pardon, my honored lord, for this most impertinent discourtesy. No discourtesy. No discourtesy, sir. 'Tis a fine thing indeed to have a regard for the martial arts. In addition to our daily tasks, the men of the inner chambers are charged also with the protection of our liege's person, which is indeed a most important task. I see. Ye are both. Ye are both pages. Your names, Your Excellency. This to my side is Mizuno, and mine own name is Sugishida, sir. Mizuno. Ah, so thou art Mizuno, the new page. I have heard tell of thine exploits. They say that when pressed to perform the newcomer's night duties by a party of 3, Thou not only fought them off valiantly, but trounced them all and got away undefiled to boot. Splendid, splendid. Now that I see what a handsome young buck thou art, and make even more sense of the story. Now I have grown so stout, there was once a time in my own life when I was as pretty as thee. Wouldn't thou think it? Verily, my lord. What sayest thou, Mizuno, to stepping into the fencing hall for a bout with one of the gallants? My lord, I thank you for this great honor, but I have mine own duty still remaining, which must need be carried out. No need by my leave. Thou wast peering into the dojo with such interest because of thine own knowledge of swordsmanship, I am quite sure. Thou hast considerable skill, hast thou not? Dost thou refuse the command of Sir Fujinami, senior chamberlain of the inner chambers? I say, get thee to the dojo and show me thy fencing skills. What? That was none other than Sir Fujinami, senior chamberlain? This was a shock to be sure. Indeed, I wish you the best of luck, Mizuno. Who is that? A new page, so I hear. Ah, it must be that page, Mizuno. You know, the one who was in that tussle in the middle of the night? Ah, indeed. I heard 'twas quite a brawl, where he fought off all the men in his quarters with his bare hands. And with such a pretty face, too? Who would have thought it? The story has been blown up with each telling. Pray, who of the men here has the most skill? Sir, I do not think. It matters not. Yes, my lord, then. Tsuruyoka. Alright, sorry, Tsuruyoka. Stand and cross swords with this man. Sir? Huh? 'Tis the youth who was with Sir Matsu Shima. The master hath called upon Sir Tsuruyoka. Nay, it may well be a lesson for him, not to get above himself. He shall run away with his tail between his legs. His first opponent is to be Tsuruyoka? This man Mizuno must be mighty strong. Ah! Oh! They're both checking each other's footwork out. Now they're moving. Yo. Very interesting. Very interesting. Boom, boom, boom. What is this? He did not even glance at the opening I created for him. He's good. In spite of appearing so slight, he hath a body of steel. He could not have built such a body without daily practice. Behold, how he still stands as a rock, wielding the wooden sword above his head. What this means is that he hath the time to spare every day to devote to this art. So I see. 'Tis not just for looks and breeding that one is prized here. It was a clash. Yo, okay. And then Mizuno wins the clash. Dope. Cool. He hath defeated Sir Tsuruyoka. Yo. Are you alright, Sir Tsuruyoka? Please forgive me if you've been hurt. Due to your tremendous strength, I was unable to stop my sword completely. And also, please allow me to thank you. This has been the happiest day that ever I've experienced since I began studying the way of the sword. Had I known there was a practitioner here of such exquisite skill as yours, I would have hastened to this dojo much sooner. My victory in this contest was purely a cornered rat biting a cat. Surely, if we have another turn at it, I shall have no chance of a similar success. Such swordmanship as yours I have never... Enough! Swats Mizuno's sword hand away. Swordsmanship? Do Do not get so full of thyself. 'Tis no matter how strong a swordsman one is. Here in the inner chambers, 'tis far more important to have a pale, pretty face and impeccable manner of social conduct. In both those qualities, I am far above thee. Ha! Onobu, this place is grim. 'Tis crowded with men, all of whom are blessed with such beauty and talent as to bedazzle one, yet their hearts are dark and sullen. Hmm. I heard you were victorious in your kendo bout. So why? Okay, so it is kendo. Good. So why this gloom? This gloom. What gloom? I am delighted to have won and could jump up and down for joy. Aha! Indeed, is that so? If you are in such good spirits, then you will not be displeased if I talk a while about myself. My family were Gokinen, with an income of 30 bales of rice, enough for just 3 people. Even among the lowest ranking Gokakin, there is no lower stipend than that. Worse, my parents, unlike your own, thought nothing of selling their son's body for profit every night of the week. Every night, from the age of 14, I was forced to lie with women. There were some among them who would press red-hot fire irons on my flesh, others who were diseased. When at the age of 18 I was married off, I was glad from the bottom of my heart. Finally, I would be escaping that nightly hell. But after several years of marriage, we were still without child, and they said 'twas my fault, that my seed was bad, and I was divorced. In the last months I spent in that house, I was barely given any food to eat. There was no question of going back to the penniless house of my birth. So I entered into service here at the age of 23 in the lowliest rank of houseboy. It was hard work, scrubbing and washing and carrying heavy pots and buckets side by side with the sons of merchants. But neither that nor being violated by those above me did pain me much any longer. You see, Mizuno, to you, these inner chambers may seem a thoroughly sick, rotten, and hateful place. But there are those who can live their lives nowhere else. Hmm. On the 30th day of the 4th month in the 6th year of Shotoku, June 18, 1716, the condition of the sickly Yegitsugu, or Ietsugu, seventh shogun of the Tokugawa dynasty, turned critical. It was just 4 years since the death of the previous shogun, Inobu. So Matsushima, it appears to be decided that our next ruler will be Lord Yoshimune of Ki Province. Of the heads of the 3 Tokugawa branch houses, Lord Yoshimune was the first to reach Edo Castle when our liege lay dying. 'Tis said that Lord Yoshimune's revival for the succession, Lord Tsugumoto, Tsugutomo of Owari province, did not even have the palanquin ready for the journey at the time. Thus had Lord Yoshimune already secured the succession. According to what I have heard, the Key branch bribed one of the chief retainers of the Owari domain to delay the report of our liege's critical condition to Lord Tsugutomo. Ah, is that so? Women are indeed devious. Regardless, Lord Yoshimune is still unmarried and robust of body. The inner chambers will see some liveliness for the first time in years, though I do pity the man she chooses to be her secret swain. Or secret swine, I guess? Could be. It looks like it's swain, though. Lord Yoshimune is indeed a vigorous and valiant woman who favors the martial arts and is herself well versed in them. She will not fancy a man who is merely pretty and weak. Ah. Yes. I have just the fellow for her. I recently discovered a most suitable swain. The next day, on the 1st day of the 5th month, the child shogun Ietsugu passed away, ushering in the reign of the 8th Tokugawa, Shogun Yoshimune. All right, move on. Okay, so that's like half, a bit less than half the volume. All right. Let's see. How doth this robe please your highness? The raised Sintamani pattern on the swept up gown doth look embroidered, but indeed is woven into the black Narinuki fabric. See how long we've been streaming. Ooh, like an hour. Okay. By swept up gown, does that mean this Uchikake overgarment? Two pages says, what is this? Like, this is the end of like the second one? Yeah. We have 3 and 4 left. All right. Maybe what I'll do is I will end at chapter 1 and 2 because my throat is starting to like feel a bit like I'm like out of practice in terms of like doing these sort of long streams and talking and like reciting stuff from the text. It's funny because like when I teach, like I talk all the time, but I don't know why my throat is like, you know. So I'm gonna stop here, but I want to talk about. I'm gonna change the title. Change the title. All right. I think what I'll try to do from now on is like do like a part 1 and 2 sort of stream. Like I'll be like Ooku Volume 1, and then in parentheses it'd be like chapter 1 and 2, like live reaction initial thoughts, and then I will do 3 and 4 on like another date sometime soon, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I'll see. Not tomorrow, then later on. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll let you know. Basically, I'll let you know when I'm going to do it. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm definitely going to do it, and then I don't do it, and like that sucks. All right? But I'm going to talk a bit about how I feel about chapters 1 and 2 and why I think it's actually very good so far. I think there's some really, really great stuff that I like so far. Let me change the title to this real quick. I'm going to edit this just to make sure it's accurate. And 2. All right, and save it. All right, cool. All right, so far I really, really like it. I think there's a way in which like when you talk with people, sometimes when you talk with people and you mention to them, oh, you know, right, look, women are treated like garbage. They deal with this stuff. They deal with all these different things. They're looked at differently. They're looked as lesser than, right? There are only so many spaces where like they are where they actually have like quite a bit of power in a certain way, and people will just look at you like you're like nuts, right? They'll be like, "What are you talking about? Like everything's fine. Everybody's equal. We're all good." Da, da, da. But it's like we know that's not the case. But people will go out of their way to like avoid those conversations, and they will start talking about things that aren't particularly like necessary. Like they'll mention certain things and like, oh, well, you know, women are treated like garbage, but like there are more important things to worry about. I'm like, huh? That makes no sense. You know, they'll be like, oh, but what about, you know, the economics of you know, what about capitalism? Let's talk about capitalism. And I'm like, yo, but like you do realize like when we're talking about like women, like and how they're treated and this society, like we inherently have to talk about like capitalism and that capitalist system and how that functions, right? Because women are a large part of like the workforce that allows like this capitalist space to function. You know what I mean? So it's like people like always do these dumb things and they don't make any sense. And it's like and it's like I don't even know if I want to call it a straw man, because I think a straw mans tend to be related in some way to the initial sort of like conversation, but they don't do much to answer like the sort of like initial conversation, or like improve or progress in a positive sense. You know what I mean? So people would just be mentioning something else and just completely changing the subject. You're like, what are you talking about? You know, so it's just like, this is a manga that I think just does like, already it's just 2 chapters, but it does such a great job of like switching it up. So when you have dudes that have a really hard time empathizing, like they just have like, I don't know what it is. Well, I probably do know what it is, but I'm not going to mention that here, because like too many people, like, you know, they just get really ridiculous. It's like, that's not me, I don't feel like that. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to say that like, oh, this is how men feel, blah, 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 or whatever, or anything like that. I'm not even going to go there, but I'm just going to say that like, oftentimes you have men who just don't have any sort of ability to empathize with women in these ways, right? They'll be like, oh, I can't empathize, man. I can't empathize with, you know, women like being assaulted or attacked or anything like that. I don't know how to, I don't know. And I'm like, really? Like that's something that came out of your mouth? Like you thought that? Like seriously? And then they don't want to read a story like this, because they're like, oh no. Men are interested in one another. Men are sexually attracted to one another. I can't deal. I cannot deal. I can't deal. Something about it is not good. It's dirty. It's gross. I'm not going to call it homophobia, because homophobia is just a fear of homosexuality. And I'm not scared of gay people. You know what I mean? Like nonsense, utter nonsense. You know what I mean? And so like they will just avoid a story like this like it's a plague. They'll avoid Ooku like it's a plague. And for me, this is such an important, like already this is such an important text. Already the stuff of like what's going on in chapters 1 and 2 are so important, because it's not even so much like a simple role reversal. I think if it was like a simple role reversal, you would see some things would like function sort of differently, right? Like the ways in which sort of like, at least for now, I haven't seen enough to maybe say like that. But in some ways, I do think that like there were some things about it that are very interesting, because I think if it was just a role reversal, then there would be things that wouldn't even be discussed within Ooku. You know what I mean? Like the idea of, right, the plight of women who are this sort of like stuck in this, oh well, I got to make sure that I have a child, and I need to make sure that like my value like is placed in being able to give birth to children. You know what I mean? Like that's like an issue. Like that's not necessarily that's not about like role reversal. That's like something that like happens here in this society. So that's why like again, Ooku is not just like, it's not like a simple like, oh, let's flip it. You know what I mean? It's like, not only let's flip some things, but let's also like tackle the things that are already an issue. You know, and I think like that to me is like the sort of sign of something that's like very well written, because usually if someone's like, oh, we're just gonna switch this up and we're gonna do this like kind of basic idea, reverse the roles, it's like that's not enough. You gotta sort of do more of that. You can't just like ignore like, right? It's not like women are just like they're just in power and that's it. It's like there are all these other things, right? There are all these other things that like are probably going to be discussed, and people will look at this and they'll say, oh well, that's in the Edo period. That's all the way back in 1716. Come on, man, you talking about stuff that's old. I'm like, bruh, it is 2018 and you still have dudes out here worried about, you know, whether talking about women, like some women aren't like useful because they are in their 30s or in their 40s or in their 50s and like nonsense, like, because like they can't give birth to like children at some point or something like that. And I'm like, dudes, like they out here, there are way too many dudes that are out here talking about that. There are dudes out here that are talking about, oh well, you know, I only see women as objects, and women that like I want to like have sex with them, blah blah blah. And I'm like, it is 2018. I see this all the time. So again, this is one of those things where it's like a story that is doing something within this period, because it in some ways like it's a bit more sort of realistic for these things to be as pronounced in a certain way, right, like throughout like the society. You know what I mean? In a more like explicit sort of way, in a way in which like the laws like sort of dictate some of these things, right? But like in 2018, it's much more. It's at least the people that know it is explicit, right? I think to women, like a lot of this stuff is like very explicit. You know, like not the stuff, not like all the stuff in Ooku, but like some of the stuff in Ooku, right? Mizuno's just like, whoa, like men are like, you know, having sex with other men. You know what I mean? And like, not only is Mizuno stunned about the men's attempt to rape him, right? Because that's what that is, right? I think we're talking about like, oh, they're just gonna sexually assault him. I'm like, yo, they were trying to rape dude. That's what was going on. All right. And he rightfully so was like, yo, boom, 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 get out of here. All right. But it's not just that. There's like layers to it, right? It's not just that, like, he's like, whoa, get away from me, like you're raping me, right? It's like right, like that's like, and that was intense to read through. But it's also that like he is in, like he just has no idea, right? He has no idea that like this is something that could even happen, right? He's not only stunned at the fact that they're attempting to rape him, right? Because like, right, but he's stunned at the fact that it's men doing that. That there's like this that's something that can happen, that men can rape other men, and like that's, again, this is something that happens all the time, right? And people don't talk about it. That's why like it's not just a critique on things that are happening in 1716. It's like also like, yo, this stuff is happening in like 2018 and people don't talk about it. So that's why I think this is to me, already I've read 2 chapters and I'm like, yo, very interesting. You know what I mean? And in another way, what you'll notice is that even within the inner chambers, right, there's like someone that's like definitely on top, right? And there's a woman that's on top, right? But she's like a figurehead. You know what I mean? It's like, not, you know, like one, she's a figurehead and then she just dies. Then we have another person that's coming in. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I'm going to read more of that when I get the chance. But it's like under that, it's all dudes, right? Within the inner chamber. It's like all dudes that have like this bit of power, and they're all using their power, right, to make sure that they get certain things that they want, including like sexual favors and all these other things. So there's a lot here that's working, and I think that to sort of move on, or to move back to the point where this is sort of like a critique in the ways in which men feel like they can empathize with certain sort of stories. It's like when you see what was I gonna think about? Like all these men sort of dealing with like these issues. There are all these different types of issues that these guys deal with. On one hand, this is not to say that some of this stuff doesn't happen to guys, but but to me, it's like very clear that a lot of the stuff is stuff that like you'll see, like it happens to women all the time, right? They deal with this stuff all the time. The ways in which women are valued by men, the ways in which those values are made to seem positive and right? Like the way that men like view women as sexual objects, the way that men view women as simply like tools to further their own selves and versions of themselves, right? You have like men that are like, oh, I want my child to be like me. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like it's like stuff like that, right? It's like I want them to pass down the name and the line, and I'm like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like it's just like really like ridiculous stuff. So there's a lot here. That's very much of a critique on the stuff that still happens today in 2018. And I think a lot of men would be like one, you have a sort of there's a layeredness to this, right? There's like layers to this where you have, on one hand, men will say they won't even empathize with women, regardless of like whether that woman is like heterosexual or is on a LGBTQ spectrum, right? In terms of like sexuality, right? Regardless of that, I can't empathize with a story about women. So what this author has done is they said, okay, like I'm gonna make it guys, right? I'm gonna make it guys, and let's see if you can empathize with that. And then you'll still have guys that are like, I can't empathize with this, like because the men are like into each other sometimes and stuff. And I'm like, like, and again, it's just revealing. It's very revealing about what men choose to read, especially that are manga fans. It's like, what do men choose to read? Why do they choose to read it? What do they want to uphold? What do they want to know about? And what don't they want to know about? Right? And like, again, this is one of those stories that, to me, it's already a brilliant story. It's already a fantastic story. But it's stories like this that are wonderful, right? Right? And it's just like, no, this is different. You know, like I don't know. Oh yeah, see, like I'm not sure about, like I'm not sure about that. I don't know how, like I don't know more. So I guess could be. Cause I mean it is okay. So Professor told me, yeah, it is possible, right, that you can have I don't know about that. I think about that a lot, and I'm not sure. Because I think where that stems from is men sort of saying, oh, no. Well, in some ways that's worse, right? Where you have men that sort of, in a lot of ways, I think like there's this sort of layers to that too, right? Because like sexual needs, like, yeah, like you have like that. I don't even, like, it's more like, yes, you have a need, like your body sort of like biologically saying like, hey, like you have to like ejaculate like sperm, right? There's that. But I think there's also like the ways in which like people don't sort of look at certain instances. Like I think there's also like there's like, okay, I am a man, right? Like what happens to Mizuno, right? Like that is, here is these guys, they might have, right, and they probably experienced like the same thing. So it's right, it's sort of like a cycle of like abusers that abuse. You know what I mean? And there's that, right? And then there's like projecting your heterosexual sort of desires onto an individual that doesn't necessarily want to, right? That doesn't want to be a part of those like set desires, right? So it's like when these guys are like, oh, you know, I want you to keep your hair in a certain way, and I want to make sure that like your body feels the way that I want it to feel for my particular pleasure. There's like so much like grossness going on there. You know what I mean? Not in the sort of general like sense of like a man having sexual relations with a man, but when you look further, there a lot of what's going on there is like, I'm a man, I'm a person like who is enacting sort of like this like particular kind of like this abusive relationship. You know, that's why like when you talk about general relationships, it's like, yo, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, when you talk about basic relationships, right, general relationships, right? It's like, yo, you should like your partner should be like independent in a lot of ways, like of like the things that like you want them to be in a sense, right? It's like if I like I'm not gonna go to like my fiance and be like, hey, like I want you to be Britney Spears. Like what? Like that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? But what's going on there is like, in some ways, right? It's like there's levels to it. You know what I mean? Where it's like clearly like these are men who are enjoying having like sexual relations with other men, but like one is levels to it because one is like the sexual abuse that goes on, but two, there's a way in which like it's like this like this heterosexuality, right? This heteronormativity is like pushed on, like it's like hyper. It's like so hyper, this hypersexuality, right? This hyper heterosexuality. That's like I'm gonna be a man and I'm gonna also have sex with a man, right? But I'm gonna make sure that I'm doing it because of this like hyper heterosexuality. I'm saying to myself, oh, these men are men, but not really, because I'm attracted to women and I'm making sure that they look like women. It's like all of this like stuff. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff going on here that like very much so just leads back to like abuse and like abuse of power and like this toxic like masculinity in a way. You know what I mean? Like so there's a lot, and I feel like maybe I'll have a stream and I should probably talk about it at some point, because I don't think I'm making myself as clear as I would like to here. And I think you know, if I apologize if like I've made certain comments that are offensive in certain ways, You know what I mean? Like, so again, there are layers to it. You know, there are levels to it. And I think, again, that's what I'm saying, right? Like this book does a great job of doing that. And right in that scene, there are so many different things that are going on, that I think that's what, like, right, like Fumi Yoshinaga, like sort of like, you know, like she does like a great job of like sort of portraying these things, that it's not just like, you know, sexual needs, but it's like also like there's a way in which like these men are at once like, you know, having like right, homosexual, like right, gay relations with, right, like gay relations, but they so badly want to maintain this idea of heterosexuality that they'll make these like, you know, comments like, oh, I'm gonna make it so that, you know, this is like a woman and you look like a woman and da da da. You know what I mean? It's like all this like stuff that in some ways attempts to mask the actual stuff that's like going on there, right? Not only are there like gay relations, sexual relations going on, but it's also like rape, you know, and it's really, 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 you know, hard to watch and hard to read. Obviously, that's why like when I got to that point, I was like, I had to breathe, because I was like, okay. And then once I got through it and I sort of paid attention, I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. This is actually pretty interesting, even though it's incredibly hard to read and see and deal with, because like this is such a intense and depressing and just sad like instance, you know. So I don't know. I guess that's what I have to say about that. But again, I mean, like I think there's just layers to it. You have guys who just like they will continue to make excuses and be like, "This is why I don't want to read this. I can't empathize with this thing. I can't empathize with that thing." And what they're really saying is, I can only empathize with a very distinct heteronormative construction of things, and that's okay. And I'm like, that's not okay. Like that's one that's incredibly like limited, and you have to look at yourself and say like, why can't I do that? Why can't I, like, you know, why can't I empathize with these particular things that are going on? What is bothering me so much? And that's why, again, I always get back to like this idea of like homophobia and all sorts of things, and, you know, misogyny, and this inability to acknowledge, you know, how much like misogyny and sexism and homophobia and all these things like exist, right? And then you have people that are, you know, and I think in a lot of ways, like you have guys who will equate, right, a man raping another man with being gay, and I'm just like, you know, and it's stuff like that, and they don't even realize that they're doing it. They don't even realize that they're equating the two, you know. But when you hear them speak and you hear them say certain things, and you're like, okay, that's what's happening, and it's like, no, that's not right, and here's why, you know. So there's a lot that whenever you're talking with dudes, right, there's always like all of this stuff. There's always all of this just like caked on layers of just like dirt and nonsense and all sorts of stuff that you have to break through before you can even have a legitimate like discussion about what is the actual, like, sort of what are their actual issues. You know, it's just a lot. That's not to say I'm never going to stop doing that, because like I'm going to keep doing it. But there's so much that's stopping dudes from just reading texts like these, because they're like, oh, I saw the one thing, I'm good. And I'm like, yo, there's so much here. There's so much already. And just in the first 2 chapters, right? There's already so much here in the first 2 chapters. You know what I mean? So yeah, so far I'm loving it. I mean, like, they were like, yo, thanks. Shouts out to Kendra, who's on Twitter. Super Jinbei stan. Also is one of the hosts of My Hero Academia podcast. Check that out. All right. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like there's like, you know, and like, I mean, there's an entire you know, sort of like branch of just like, you know, critical thought, like, or critical discussions like dedicated to rape, you know what I mean? Like rape studies, I guess is what we call it. And there's a lot there, you know? So I think that's not to say that, like, you know, like I would never say like, oh, you know, something like, oh yeah, like rape is necessary for rape subjects. I'm like, that, nah. It's like, ugh, don't even get there. Don't even go there, right? Like, to like, hey, at least something good came. I'm like, nah, 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 nah. I'm not going there. Get out of here with that. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean like, right? Like, but what I will say is that like these studies exist and these discussions exist, and they really delve into like sort of like the complexities of it, and right. And when I say complexities, I mean the way in which like these right rape, like sort of like these discussions intersect with other conversations, right, in different subjects and all different types of things. So there's a lot to it, and there's a lot that you can go out and read and have discussions with people and talk about it and everything like that. But I think again, like I think a lot of guys like equate like gay right sex with rape, and it's like, whoa, and they do that instinctive. It's like just subconsciously they do that. They don't even see that they're doing it, but that's what they're doing. And you have to just work through all these layers to get them to just even like see that, and then do that sort of work of helping them figure out like why that's not true at all. You know what I mean? But I think this book so far is phenomenal. I think it does a lot of things that's very interesting. But a lot of, like, Professor told me, like you're saying, like, people gotta get out of there. They gotta get out of their own way, and sometimes they're not gonna be able to do that, and you gotta help them get out of their own way. And then sometimes they just won't want they won't want that help. And then you gotta keep trying, and it depends, it depends on the person, but you gotta keep trying, That's what I'm gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna stop here because my throat is feeling away, and I think at some level point I really, really want to have like a discussion about the entire volume once I'm done with it, because I think if you just read 1 or 2 chapters, there's certain things that like you just won't know, and that I don't know, and I want to have like a full volume like discussion at some point. I don't know. I'll talk about it with some people and try to, see if maybe I can get like an actual like discussion stream at some point. I don't know. Maybe that's something that I can set up. But for now, I really, really like Ooku. I think it does a lot of great things, important things, and I would suggest that people read it. Definitely check it out. All right, I'm gonna set like a time signature. I'm gonna start setting up time signatures for these videos, so when I'm doing my initial thoughts, and when I'm reacting to the parts of the volume. But Professor Tommy, shouts out to you for being here. Who else? Hardcore Weeboo, shouts out for you to come through. Naya, shouts out to you for coming through. All right. I would say check it out. I think there's some really dope stuff in this volume, in terms of like discussing certain types of ideas that are still happening now, but we just kind of ignore it because we have these, sort of rose-colored glasses, right, on that, tell us, oh, things are generally okay, right, and we should be fine with that general like reality. And I'm like, nah. All right. So again, thank y'all for coming through. Definitely feel free to comment, okay? Because I always want to talk to people about this stuff. And I think that it's important that I, just kind of continue to refine the way that I talk about this stuff, because like this is not like something that I'm not like a super expert on this or anything like that. But there are experts out there, and if I can just kind of keep talking about the stuff and keep reading and keep being aware about the ways in which these topics are discussed, right? Sexuality, rape, these kind of things, right? Misogyny, all these things. Then I can be, I can just be a better person and more informed person, and that's what I'm always trying to be. All right, so I'm the Black Manga Critic. Thank y'all for coming through to the Ooku Volume 1. All right, these are first 2 chapters. Okay, the live reaction to that and my initial thoughts. All right, and I gotta get out of here because I gotta eat. All right, it is 2:48, and I gotta make sure that I spend the rest of the day doing other stuff. Okay, then I gotta get done. So I'm the Black Manga Critic. Thank y'all for coming through. And I'm out.